Hey guys, this is Pato Award, and you're listening to Indy Sports Podcast. And or what is that? Is that what it's called?
That's
right?
That's perfect.
Or did I say something wrong?
No, trust me, man. I mean, I can edit all this. It's no problem.
What is it again? Indy Sports Podcast or what?
The Indy SportsCar Podcast.
Indy Sports Cars Podcast.
Nice. Yeah, if you want to try it again, go ahead.
Hi guys, I'm Pato Award, and you're listening to the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Welcome, ICP fans, to another episode of the Indy Sports Car Podcast with a car going by in the background. What's up, Missy?
Hello.
What's going on, Jared?
Hello.
Sorry, I'm not closing this window. It is hot today. Good God, y'all. What happened to spring? Oh, yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. So anyway, yeah. How's everybody's yeah. Good stuff.
Spit it out.
Words.
Yeah. 5 years of speech therapy. It's gotten me this far.
Yeah, well, we can start by saying hi to Gregorio. Welcome back. Glad you're able to join us here for next episode. Says a
Greg.
happy oven day.
Greg, Mr. Muffin, I promise the DVD will be sent soon, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm insanely forgetful and lazy at the same time, but it's coming, buddy.
No comment.
Missy agrees. She said no compliment. No comment. What'd you say?
No comment.
Oh yeah, that. No, because Greg was our LIW, the Twilight Zone review winner. That's right. Yep. I mean, he was going to be the de facto winner whether we got five-star reviews on iTunes or not. Let's be honest. But it's coming, Greg. So just be patient, buddy. And also, I just had a long-time listener DM me out of the blue. Like, literally, I haven't DM'd him for like a year, And he DM'd me like 5 minutes before, we started doing this. So I just need to send him a quick DM, letting him know where to go so he can watch the podcast. And then, so Missy, take over, please.
Sure. Wait, what autographed hat was this, Greg? Just a few years back.
Do I owe him an autographed hat?
I don't know. That's what he says. Don't forget the autographed hat from a few years back.
I owe him a lot, I think. More than that, even. Yeah, I promised Greg a lot over the years that I've not come through, and he's still here. That's why I love Greg. Greg's a good dude. Okay, sorry. Guys.
It's supposed to be Tristan Vaultier, apparently.
Oh, right. I need to get it signed first.
Oh, come on, Frank.
No, I'm kidding. Do I have it? Do we have it? Yeah, we do, right? Tristan signed a bunch of stuff for us before we came media, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. I think it was at,
Pocono.
No. When he was racing IMSA.
Oh, Watkins Glen.
I don't think it was Watkins Glen. What's the other track up there? That we went to.
Oh, Lime Rock.
Lime Rock. That's it.
Yeah, Tristan was sitting all by himself at Lime Rock in the middle of the paddock there, signing autographs, and people didn't know who he was, of course, because it was at IMSA, and he was racing. I think he was racing GTD at the time. That's when GTD was like a thing. Remember that? Remember that awful series? Anyway,
GTD is still good.
Is it still a thing? Because I boycotted IMSA almost 100% at this point.
It is. They still have 4 classes.
Mr. Penske, can you please buy IMSA? I mean, make it a trifecta for me.
They
You know,
already have an owner. It's called NASCAR.
that's why I'm asking him to buy it so it becomes better. Because NASCAR is, they have a great track record of just destroying race series, and they're doing a great job with IMSA so
Well,
far.
as Greg here says, it is better than it was in 2014. I
I'll
agree.
I'll give him that. 2014 was a S show of epic proportions. That's when Tristan was there, I think. No. When was Tristan a rookie? He was a rookie when Baltimore was still a GP. I remember that. And he crashed. Ray Hall crashed into him, and then
That wasn't his rookie year, though, what you're referring to.
what? Oh no, that was his second year, right? Because he only did 2 years, 2 full years with Schmidt, right? Because it was orange and white. Remember, the car was orange and white, and it was Schmidt Peterson, and him and Graham crashed. I think at pit exit, that pit exit turn there. I don't know. Baltimore's setup was terrible, especially that kink in the middle of the straightaway. But hey, I mean, Elio did almost kind of die because it wasn't there. Remember that? Remember when Elio's brakes failed and Tony Kanaan saw it and then drove into the path of Elio? So Elio, like, he took a lot of kinetic energy
Yeah.
away. Like that's insane.
Well, I
That's
mean, who doesn't love train tracks on a racetrack? I mean, come on. It doesn't get any better than that.
I want a wooden covered bridge personally over a lake.
That would sound awesome when they go through the covered bridge.
Wouldn't it? And then there's a crash and one comes flying out the side and into the river, and then there's divers, and and we lost a driver to drowning, probably.
Yeah,
The
no.
covered bridge idea is bad. It's a bad idea. Good in
Welcome to the
concept.
bad idea episode.
Yeah. Okay. Here's another bad idea. Let's pour a ton of money, effort, and manpower and everything into Pocono just to bounce. Yep.
Well, I feel bad because it maybe I don't know. It felt like every year the attendance got better,
It
but
did.
it did, but it's still got to be a profitable. And I don't know if the track made enough profit to cover the sanctioning fee. Because
Jared.
they don't get it. They weren't getting the kind of breaks that Eddie's getting down there in Texas. They're paying full price here. And with no
They,
support series, you got no ladder, no Indy Lights, no nothing else other than the historic vintage. And I will admit, the quarter midget racing out behind the grandstand is awesome. That is a lot of fun. But I mean, it's a 2.5 mile
now,
track with nothing else going on. It
I would like
really, really killed it.
I would like to say though that the vintage support series that they had and they aired it on NBC. I was on TV talking to one of the guys on pit lane in the AJ Foyt car, the really old one, this number 64, I think it
Nice.
was. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then we saw him at Gateway the next week, and he was telling me about it, that I was on TV with him, and I had no idea. And I never found it because Missy just had to have the Big Bang Theory just keep on piling into the DVR of Comcast, and so the race wasn't recorded because
Are you serious
Big
right now?
Bang.
The amount of shows that you DVR and I DVR'd one?
Yeah, the Big Bang Theory.
One show.
Yeah,
One show I
that's
DVR'd.
that's syndicated through 18 channels 4 times a day.
And I don't care.
Well, I do, because 3 days and our entire memory's taken up.
It is not.
And Pocono wasn't recorded because we have a bunch of idiots with bad jokes in the laugh track.
I like that show.
That
Don't
show
hate.
sucks.
Whatever.
Jared, do you like The Big Bang
How
Theory?
dare you?
I'm going to abstain here.
That's a no. So, moving on.
I suck. Yeah, it's good.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like Greg here. Even a pre-race concert. Iowa had it right. I remember they used to have the corn stage with the live band and stuff. I feel like that was Pocono's failing. Is that the races were good apart from some of the bad things that happened during the races, but you didn't. There
Racing,
wasn't enough there to hold fan interest to justify. I wouldn't even, I can't say like to justify ticket prices because the ticket prices were actually pretty good to justify having to go how far out you'd have to go to get to the track. It's relatively out in the middle of nowhere. So
not, well,
I
not, now that's relative, okay?
and it is relative, but
Because to Missy and
to
I,
bring a family, okay, from New York City, that's what 90-minute drive, almost 2-hour drive. So to
well,
bring a family from there, there wasn't a whole lot for families to do to justify that kind of trip. The expense is relative, but
the Indy SportsCar podcast, sir. That's why this is.
I agree. They should have had more entertainment. I think that's what ultimately.
Look,
because the fan village they had there was pretty lousy.
yeah, it was depressing.
Yeah,
Well, not to me
Hmm.
because I had full reign of it all, and I got to buy a whole lot of good stuff. Look, I got the new crop of IndyCar shirts. It go on to IMS, I think, or whatever website that sells IMS and IndyCar merch, which I think is IMS, whatever. But I got, new IndyCar shirt, right? This is one of two that I got. And Missy got a new shirt, and I got it because I have to podcast with a nice crisp hat, and my other hat was getting a little bit dingy, so I had to get a new one. So, I mean, I do other shows, and I have other hats that are nice and crisp. So, Anyway, nobody cares about that. My point being is, yeah, they took Pocono away, and I'm mad. I mean, what are the three top podcasts that are not already backed up by someone else's career that they did a podcast and everybody knew about it beforehand? Like I'll say, I don't know.
don't do it.
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Like Rob Howden say, everybody knew Rob Howden, right, before he started his podcast. I'm saying fan-made podcasts for the fans. What are the top 2-3 podcasts out there? They're in Philly and one's in Indianapolis. You got Pit Lane Parlay. Shout out to Mike. He was on last week. Thank you again, brother. You got us, longest running, continuous weekly IndyCar / MRTI or RTI. It's going to take me 4 years to break that, and they'll change it again. We call it the Sports Car Podcast back then because we were into them back then, but not anymore. And then you got,
Speak for yourself.
the Fast Cars, Fast Girls, which, shout out to Abby for letting us shack up last year because she's like
Whoa.
literally. Hey, it was a good night. So yep, Missy and Abby, baby.
Molly and Abby.
No, Missy and Abby was last year.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to get into details, but yeah, Molly and Abby do a great job. I'm just saying we stayed at Abby's house for the Indy 500 last year due to circumstances with my bank that I was very upset with. Anyway, point being is, they're within walking distance of the track, so you know what I mean. But the top 2 podcasts for IndyCar are in Philly. I mean, Mike lives in Northeast Philly. Look, we claim Philly. It takes me 15 minutes to drive there. Okay, so there's a town next to us called Pine Hill. If you drive to one certain hill, There's Philly. It's that close. It's a lot closer than you think. We're not that far. And anyway, um, but yeah. So, but the closest track now is Richmond, which is gone. So now the
It's
closest
not.
track.
It's gonna be back 2021.
Sure. Yeah. You know the Black Plague lasted 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Because it kept coming back in the
Speaking
fall
of
and
gone,
spring, fall, spring, fall,
should
spring.
do our continuous week after week of races that are gone for this year.
Oh,
Add Toronto to the list.
oh, that was a given.
Yeah, we just about everybody knew that was gonna
I mean,
happen.
it was written
The
on.
border isn't even open for
Somehow St. Pete
non-essential.
though, like St. Pete's straight up, we're gonna have this thing in October. I don't. We don't care. We're doing it.
Well,
So
it's also Florida.
true. Yeah, and my mom and my sister live there, so they seem to get mad at me like, oh, you're only here because of the race, and then your bonus is you get to see us. And I'm like, no, it's the other way around. See, they're like, well, why are you here? And well, the race.
The race first and foremost.
Yeah, yeah. So then,
It's more like you get the bonus of seeing me. You
yeah, that's
wanted
what
to see more of me, you could come out to the track.
I've offered. My mom can't walk or something, and my sister's doing something.
Well, they
Yeah.
are very handicap friendly at every single racetrack I've seen. Very, very good accommodations.
It's what I try telling her. I'll push you around all day. I don't care.
Well, the problem is, I think she's more afraid of having to ride in the car with you to the track.
I don't blame her. Don't blame her. But I would Uber. I would Uber her and me there, just to get her there. I would do that for her. I would complain the whole time, but I'd still do it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. But my point being is yeah, October. Um, I'm looking forward to seeing Pete. But if you go on IMS's website, they have magnets for $1.50, 150, not tree fifty, but one 150 of the magnets of St. Pete, March, whatever it was, and there it is.
Hey,
So I
just
got
get some white out and white out the date and rewrite it. I
that's a
did see
mag.
though they have the 2020 diecasts are out with the arrow screen, so that
Yep.
would be those are good. Would be a good thing to pick up.
Yep. If you wanted to get a better idea of just how really ugly it is,
I think it's beautiful.
you buy it.
I I like it.
I like it better on the new chassis.
Well, that's you still got to wait for that.
Well, yeah, a year, 2022.
20 yeah, as of right now 2022, but
Hey, the captain is in the captain's chair, son. It
he
will be
is.
2022. You know, not
All
only do
hail
we
the
have an owner,
captain.
not only do we have an owner that loves IndyCar, we have an owner that is always at every race with the big headphones on, being an engineer for one of his drivers, not being the guy behind everybody. He's like Tim Cindric, Penske, and whoever else does New Garden, I forget. But you know what I'm saying, like he's the man, and he's loaded, and that's the best part about it. He's filthy freaking rich. I mean, he owns IMS, he owns IndyCar, he needs to own IMSA, and then IMSA and IndyCar can do all these different venues together, and they both will flourish like a blooming flower, Jared. Blooming flower. What color would the flower be, Missy?
Blue. Blue.
A blue blooming,
No, pink.
pink blooming flower. Right, Jared? You feel me on this?
No, it's whatever color burnt rubber is.
Black.
Should be that color. And the plant needs to smell like burnt rubber. That's what I want. I would plant that and
Well,
then my girlfriend would hate me.
Well, Missy has 5 signed tires that made our house smell like burnt rubber for a good 6 months a couple years ago. She's got Eric Filigaris' first win tire, Parker Thompson's first win tire. Who else knows?
I have a tire from Nikita's.
Yeah, Nikita Lashtakin's tire wasn't his first win because I don't think it was but
and I think I have one from Kaylin Frederick, maybe.
Oh, I remember Kalen. Where is he? Is Kalen back this year? I haven't heard anything about him.
I don't know.
But then again, there's names I've heard that I'm just like, who? Lately. But that's normal. I mean, it's kind of like a yearly thing. You know what I mean?
Oh. Well, I mean, it has been a relatively slow racing news week, apart from NASCAR's return, but nobody, at least I don't care about that.
Don't you curse at me, sir.
But, yeah, I mean, I guess the big story was what?
The ending of the NASCAR race. Wasn't it controversial? Was there an accident towards the? I don't know.
Greg, by the way, Greg said the flower is black, red, and white with Verizon 5G or yellow Menard or yellow Pennzoil. Ooh, okay. That gives us some place to go. So, Jared, Verizon 5G red and white flower, yellow Menard, or yellow Pennzoil flower, blooming flower of IMSA and IndyCar together with the captain at the helm.
Well, I guess the question is, does the 5G flower give me coronavirus? And if the answer is no, then I would opt for that one.
It's no.
Okay, well then I would opt for the black, red, and white one.
I would like to say, people, please stop burning down cell towers. You're burning down the 4G ones, you dummies. People are just ridiculously dumb. Anyway, and not nothing, but 5G is like a very modern thing, and I'm pretty sure Italy does not have it. Just saying. Moving on. But things are looking up. I haven't been able to make my own coffee at Wawa. I've had to tell them how to do it wrong, basically, because they can't get it right for some reason. But the last 2 days, I'm allowed to make my own coffee again. Still got to wear this freaking mask.
I felt bad for the person who had to make your coffee. Can you imagine going up there and you're like, yeah, can you shake it next to my ear with the sugar in it? No, that's not enough sugar. Pour a little bit more in.
No, I go,
shake it again near my ear? No, that's too much. Pour a little bit out.
Yeah, I go, can you shucka for me? And she goes, and she goes, what does that mean? I'm like, pour it in a whole lot and then just go shucka. She just looks at me like, okay then, and she does it, and I'm like this, up to the plastic, and she's like, shucka. I'm like, you need to pour out just a little bit, and then she pours. I'm like, that's too much. Shucka again, and she shuckas. I'm like, yep, too much. You got to pour a little bit more in. It's been a nightmare, but finally I get to make my own coffee. I've had the first good cup of coffee in like 2 months or so to yesterday, and then it's been like 2 or 3 days now, and that's progress. So this thing is coming to an end, people. That's progress there. Pretty soon I won't have to work with a mask on. I can't wait. Anyways.
Well, that'd be nice.
Let's see.
Not working. I don't go out after I come home because I have to put a mask on to go in someplace. 8 to 16 hours a day is enough.
Cavallino Rampa. Yeah, Cavallino Rampa. Yeah, I mean, all of our shows always get uploaded to YouTube after they're...
No, he wants it streamed live. He wants to see it live.
I'm sorry, guys.
We haven't got that far yet.
It's a podcast.
Streaming live? Not yet.
We're podcasters. We're not YouTubers. Therefore, we do not live stream. because we like to keep our media credentials. Yes. Because podcasts or YouTubers are not considered legit media. And that's where that stops. Should they be, depending on the channel? Yes. But they're not. So, I don't know. Go listen to David Land about it, and you'll know more about that. But the way we got it set up, it's like you're watching us record the podcast, and we can interact with you a little bit. I mean, Greg just, brought the whole,
he wants to know what coffee is. It 10 sugars, 3 milk.
That's
more
not
like
real coffee.
20 sugars, regular, a little bit below 3/4, and then the rest Irish cream. That's right.
Yep.
Good stuff.
And God forbid if there's no Irish cream.
I literally have to ask them, do you have Irish cream before they put their gloves on, so they don't have to put their gloves on and then take them off in frustration. Because that's happened. Anyway, my point being is, things are starting to change for the better. More freedoms are opening up. That just means I think we're on the up curve of this thing being over with. And I cannot wait for life to go back to normal, which I don't even know what that's gonna, what's that like anymore. But I'm looking forward to finding out again. Anyway, okay, racing. Racing podcast, racing. Okay. Yeah. So, what now? Ferrari to IndyCar. Thoughts? I think it will happen.
They're working on it for what, 2022 or 2021? No, I think it was 2022.
Now, do you think this Vettel firing had anything to do with it?
It's awfully suspicious. He gets fired, and all of a sudden Ferrari's coming to IndyCar.
And Vettel's been very vocal how he'll never race IndyCar because he won't do ovals because he thinks it's insane. Yep. Him and who else?
We don't want him. I
don't
want him.
What?
Yeah, well, that's because Hamilton probably wouldn't be in the fastest car on the track. So why would he go there? I want Vettel to go to McLaren. Boot out Bottas, and I want to see Vettel and Hamilton go at it head to head in the same cars, so I can at least watch some sort of driver racing in F1.
No, but Greg's right. It's because that if F1 lowered their cap of money. Was it like they've dropped it from like 175 million to 145 million? Maybe it was something to that effect.
Yeah, you cut down the cost. It actually opens up money in their budget because now they had money left over, so might as well spend it somewhere else. And so I guess F1 cutting costs is IndyCar's gain in this case.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I mean, like, I think F1's starting to, sweat IndyCar. I mean, look what happens,
Well, I guess they just went with they lost well, not lost, but they're what, Silverstone, is it?
Silverstone.
And the Dutch Grand Prix was just announced that was canceled.
Yeah, they said no, you're not special. Racing is not considered essential, I guess, in Britain. So, but I see it's still on their schedule.
There's two things in this world I cannot stand: people that are totally intolerant of other people's cultures, and the Dutch.
Hey, don't mess with the Dutch. If you ain't Dutch, you ain't much.
No, wait a minute. I don't mind I don't mind the Dutch. Come on now. They have one of the most beautiful countries they own.
Yeah, Amsterdam is awesome.
No.
I also went to high school in
island.
Oh,
Aruba.
Jamaica. No, just Aruba.
Well, I also happened to go to high school in Holland, Michigan, which is home of Tulip Time, and I've worked for the Dutch Village a large majority of my life. So I happen to enjoy the Dutch people, but this is America. You can be entitled to your wrong opinion. That's just you.
You ever try to say a Dutch word?
No.
Read one? A Dutch town? It was impossible. Well, Amsterdam is easy.
Antwerp. But yes, they are. It's a very weird language.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, has F1 announced when they're going to start their series? I mean, they're all over the map. So that the
as of right now, it looks like it's July. The Austrian.
Yeah, Austria.
Germany, basically. Well,
as of right now,
didn't Germany lose Nürburgring, or was it Hockenheim? Whatever. Didn't Germany? Did Germany?
Yeah, there is no German GP on the schedule.
There you go. So the Austrian GP, the Germans can latch on to, because what's the difference? I say.
They're down to what? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 races that are still left on. 12.
12, and that includes Britain.
Oh yeah, I see it's still on the schedule.
Yeah, so that's 11.
He's like, okay then. That's funny.
I mean that is one thing about Formula One being international like that, is that something like this impacts them that much more, because they don't just have, they're not like IndyCar, who has to deal with the U.S. and the States, and to a lesser extent Canada, versus every single different country and all the different everything. It has to be a nightmare for them compared to like NASCAR. NASCAR is easy because they own a lot of their tracks. They get
for now,
but yeah, they have that kind of system to where they've been able to pull off what they can because of the connections and their integration. I guess you'd have to say their horizontal integration within the market.
Horizontal integration in the market.
Actually, no, I know vertical integration.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they like to horizontally integrate, but
I was like, I thought it was vertical.
They vertically. I'm sorry, I was a little backwards. Yes, they vertically integrate. They own a lot from their home tracks, all the way up the chain. So, and doing all the races so close to home, because just about all their teams are based out of the Charlotte area.
Which is, because eventually that's where most of the races will be. That's where the fan base is.
Yeah.
Or
just like IndyCars is based in Indy and the greater Midwest area, and I mean to a lesser extent on the West Coast and stuff, but yeah.
And some still in the East, but there's nothing here.
There will be. I have hopes for the future.
I swear they need to go back to New Hampshire. That was not fair.
Absolutely. New Hampshire, especially the road course, then get like a Indy Pro 2000, USF 2000 on the road course there. Oh, that would be a blast.
Not for nothing. The on Motorsport featured video, the NTT data IndyCar with the arrow, it does kind of look good actually. All right, Jared. All right, okay. It is kind of cool looking. It's really annoying in iRacing, I'll give you that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's right in the middle of your eyesight is this
you can't see anything.
But To be honest, your brain can fill in that gap pretty easily. It's not that hard.
Yeah, like I remember freshman year, my football helmet, I had the bar right here in the middle of your nose, and I was like, this thing's gonna just make me go cross-eyed. But like 5 minutes later, I forgot it existed.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, speaking of iRacing, though, I have to do plug USF 2000 and Indy Pro 2000 cars are coming to iRacing next week. So you will find me in the USF 2000 ladder because that's where I belong. I suck. Not like Missy, who nailed it at 50%.
That's right. I beat out. Frank doesn't know.
Which I'm shocked, actually.
I just threw Frank doesn't know in there for the heck of it, so, but I nailed it.
I mean, it's only been our ending of the show for 5 years now. Let's we haven't beat Frank down enough yet. Let's end the show as we beat him down.
Frank deserves a beat down.
Dragon Speed reveals revised plans for IndyCar, IMSA, and ELMS. Really? That's okay. I mean, you're not anywhere, and now you're going to be everywhere. Slow down, guys. Anyways, who races for them? Who raced for Flexbox? Who was that?
Flexbox?
Was that what's his face? The guy that botched the 2011 500. What's his name again? Hildebrand.
J.R. Hildebrand.
Isn't that him? Or no, I'm wrong.
No, he
I only have
2500.
I only ever remember Flexbox sponsoring a old prototype challenge car in IMSA.
Yeah, because it looked familiar, but not on an Indy car. The same colors though, the red, the blue, the white, But I don't see. I'm trying to see if I can see a name. I can't see a name.
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure back then that was like Panther Racing. They had, I think they were National Guard sponsored, so that could have been red, white, and blue. Because America.
No, I just remember Flexbox. I think Flexbox was in IMSA.
Yeah, Flexbox was IMSA. Old prototype challenge.
Gregoria says Manor F1 did for Flexbox.
Manor F1. No, this was written very recently on the 21st by David Mulcher. Dash Lopez.
Sorry, what article are we talking about?
It's on Motorsport. I just happened to see it. It's like a week old. It's not. I mean, it's a week old. But I haven't heard anything about it. It's been a week. Dragon Speed reveals revised plans for IndyCar, IMSA, and ELMS.
Are they going to do more races in IndyCar? Oh yeah, an expanded schedule of 6 races for 2020 was promised, but inevitably this has taken a huge knock due to the coronavirus pandemic.
A lot of people's careers were screwed royally from this pandemic, man. I feel so bad for them. Who knows if the money will still be there when everything gets back to normal. I hope it is. Yeah, like, I mean, it doesn't say much. It doesn't tell you much of anything, but literally the headline is pretty much all it tells you. Like there's no more to the story, is there? What's ELMS? Am I saying something?
The European Le Mans.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, well, I do it to I love Dragon Speed. They're a very highly dedicated group of people. It's amazing because it's the same guys work on the car regardless of what sport. IndyCar, ELMS, when they were doing WEC. It's all the same guys, same driver for the most part, Ben Hanley. And it's like I said, the same guys work on every car. They travel all over, so that takes a lot to be able to go one day you're working on an open wheel Indy car and all of its intricacies, and then the next day you're switching over. Now you're on a big prototype sports car with all the different it's similar, but it has to be a very different mindset, and it takes a certain kind of professional to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine trying to be an engineer dealing with the BOP of ELMS and IMSA. I mean, it's got to be a nightmare trying to keep up with both because they're never the same. Anyway, so like right about now, Missy, my Porsches would probably have an edge on your vet, right?
Yeah, because they would have crashed us God only knows how many times and it cost us so much money.
Probably about 5.
Yeah.
Hey, Bottas Ocon joined Formula One's virtual GP grid. And again on the 21st. Does my computer just not refresh or something? Like, boy, am I just like pulling out stories from yesteryear, it seems. Anyways, Jared, what's the one race that should have happened already? Of course, Indy. It's a stupid question. Other than in Indy, though, like St. Pete or Barber.
Well, to be honest, like the first part of this season this year, I didn't have many plans. My plans was to start season St. Pete and then month of May in Indy, just with all the travel and flying and costs and stuff. So it didn't seem like much of a disruption for me, but to lose a whole month of May, and I mean, I'm back here on Belle Isle up in the grandstand here, just waiting for the cars to come by because that was supposed to be this weekend. And so it's surreal kind of to think that we're this far in and through Memorial Day and all this stuff. But at least next weekend, next Saturday, actual race.
Which one?
Texas.
Oh, really? Is it that close?
Yeah, next week Saturday.
Finally.
Now, granted, everything I've been reading kind of, I wouldn't even want to go as a member of the media to this race because
Texas in June.
Well, no, it's just very restrictive. I was reading an article today on Racer. I won't mention who wrote it, but it talked about what's going on with photographers, and I know I've met over the years a lot of the photographers mentioned in this article, the guys that bust their asses every single day at the racetrack. Like you said, they're one of the first people there and the last ones to leave every single day because they take that great a pride in the work that they do, shooting photos, and they're all like you said, they're all small business owners, independent contractors, people that have been put out and displaced as part of the pandemic. And now that we are reconvening and IndyCar is getting started again, all of those people have been shut out. Yeah. None of them are allowed to attend the race, even though they have contracts with whether it be a team, a driver, even a manufacturer. They have contracts to shoot photos for all these people, and they're being denied credentials by the track and by the series in favor of, I guess, more privileged people.
See.
Now, is there going to be fans at the race?
No, there will be no fans, and even media that's there
won't
be allowed to leave the media center.
In the car race if there was no fans.
Well, like I said,
says a lot of things, and then just you're like, wait a minute, you're a big fat phony.
Well, just imagine if you guys went to the race and being told that you can't leave the media center.
Missy would be like, I wasn't going to anyway.
I'd be okay with it. Depends on how hot it was outside.
Right, it's but Texas, not being able to go out, walk on the grid, walk through the paddock, walk around pit lane, talk to people, just it would feel awkward to not be able to do that. So that's why I'm much better I'm much happier being at home for this race on Hot Mic, which you will actually see me here on Hot Mic doing that race in Texas next Saturday night. So tune on in. That'll be a fun time.
Right on. So, wait, it's Saturday night?
Yes, next week Saturday. So in 9 days.
Not this weekend.
Yeah, not this weekend.
In 9 days from now.
Thank
June
goodness.
6th.
Missy, are we doing Missy's fun facts, or is that over?
No, I'm sorry. I don't have the energy to do all that. Missy's track facts.
Oh yeah, for
it's the same ones. I don't have any different ones now. Sorry, it's over.
Doesn't change much. Yeah. I mean, are they gonna do the? I haven't seen anything, about it. What was it called again? It's the like IndyCar Fantasy League, but they call it something different.
IndyCar Fantasy Challenge.
Yeah, sure, that's good enough. Are they doing it this year? I mean,
I'm assuming they are. They did it for the iRacing stuff.
So,
okay. I'm sure they will have something for the actual season.
I do think the sponsors took the whole sim racing thing a bit too far. I don't think drivers should have lost their sponsorship from them reacting to sim racing incidents. No.
Yes. I'm assuming you're referring to Daniel Abt and his situation over there in Formula E.
Him and then the other guy.
Frank doesn't know that. He don't know what you're talking about.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
No, you're not. He's talking about the NASCAR guy.
No, I would have said that. I would have said Blue Emu. I know about that. I'm talking about the what you guys just said. I just don't remember his name. But I heard the story. He lost his sponsor because of something he did in a sim race. I don't know what did he do?
Daniel Abt.
Yeah.
So it's not something that he did. It's something that he didn't do, and that was actually race. He brought in a ringer to fill in for him in the race and got busted.
How?
And has lost his job, been basically fired from Formula E and Audi. One of only 4 drivers who has started every single Formula E race since it was founded in 2014 is now out of the job because he brought in a ringer to fill in for him in a sim race.
Why? Why would you do that? Maybe he sucks at sim racing and didn't want to look foolish?
Or maybe he's just tired and wanted to take a break, and one of his buddies was like, hey, I'll fill in for you. Nobody will ever know. Well, somebody did know.
Because don't they have like webcams on all these guys?
Yeah.
No?
I don't know all the specifics. I just know that he didn't actually race. He had someone fill in for him, and as such lost his livelihood as a result.
Lost his livelihood because he asked his buddy to play the video game for him.
Correct.
This is ridiculous.
Even in actually I read another article yesterday from the great Robin Miller about exactly this and how ludicrous it is. And it's not the only person who's faced like real world backlash for stuff in a sim race. Now, I'm not excusing Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson, that's bad.
Well, yeah, you can't
like
just,
you can't do what he did straight up. Like you can't do it. But like with Bubba Wallace, he rage quit a game. I've rage quit games.
We've all done that.
And granted, his spotlight's on him, blah 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 blah. He was wrecked out of the race, so I don't know why his sponsor would care so much, because it's not like his car is going to get back on track and get any sort of real TV attention. So they're done with his race being done, yeah. But it's just there's no real world for us to apply consequences to anymore. So now we get to apply real world consequences to virtual the virtual world, and it's very not a good thing.
Well, it looks like he got busted because apparently, I guess he placed the sim racer. He got the professional sim racer. He got the drive for him.
He was a professional sim racer.
That's what it's. Wait, let me just make sure.
Don't tell me he got a podium.
Yes, professional sim driver. He got the race for him. Yes, he did get a podium. He got a third. This guy for him. And then it says questions were raised following the virtual event when Daniel did not appear for the post-race interview.
What was it, a Skype interview? Like, why didn't he just Skype in? Like, yeah, I did awesome.
Well, then it gets better, though, because he thought it was a funny idea to do this, and he was going to have the sim driver drive for him, and he was going to document it and create a funny story for the fans with it.
Yeah, real funny story.
Yeah, that ended.
It's called My Career.
Just trying to be, quote, funny when he cheated in Formula E's experience. Okay. Wow, dude. I mean, even if he pulled it off, it's still not funny. Sorry. I mean,
It's just dumb to lose your job for that over that, though.
If I heard that he did that, I'd go, so, I don't care. I wouldn't laugh. I'd just go, I don't care. It's just ridiculous. He loses his entire ride for it.
Oh, good Lord. And the pro sim driver was 18.
It'd be funnier if he was 10. 10-year-old. Look, it ain't easy, man. You know, download iRacing and get a wheel and try to, do one lap without crashing. Good luck. Good luck.
Nailed it.
Yeah, in 5th gear. Yeah.
Again, rules were the only rule given to me was don't lift. I accomplished that.
You could have stayed in 3rd and still.
Well, I guess next time you'll lay down better rules.
You're right. The next time that happens, I will write up a 50-page rule book covering all bases.
All right. Outsmarted by the woman.
You knew there was a 6th gear too.
Oh, I didn't. Again, I don't sim race. How was I supposed to know that?
Well, you would think that you'd know that the real car has 6 gears.
Nope.
Kind of what I meant.
Yeah.
Nope.
How many gears does an F1 car have, Miss? Go.
6?
No.
No?
8.
Don't know.
8.
Don't know.
But all of their gearboxes are fixed. Every single car has the exact same gearing and the exact same gearbox. It's just the engines and other stuff that's different.
Yeah. The driver and the gearbox are the only things that are the same. Everything else is different. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, but yeah, ridiculous story, and ridiculous last name. Driver that loses his seat, and I never knew this guy existed. But Audi's a great team to lose your job for. That's a hurt piece right there. That's a bad couple nights. You don't get any sleep after that. Yeah. But yeah. So that happened. That story is about the most interesting story that's ever come out of e-racing. It started.
No, it's not.
For me, it is. I couldn't care less.
I mean, you had the other guy that got fired from NASCAR, and then you had this incident.
And then you had the guy, and now we have that guy. Way to go, that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Nope. All right, Kramer. So Kramer, will you think Kramer will come back, or is he done? Cosmo Kramer, he was that guy. Remember the comedian? Never mind.
Yeah, no, I think his little stand up incident kind of put the kibosh on any of that.
I'm calling Larson Kramer from now on.
Oh, Kyle Larson. Well, I mean, he did win that World Outlaws race. He's already won.
Oh, they don't care.
He completed his probation, whatever program, and got kicked down to World Outlaws and won in his second time out.
Yeah, well, all those guys, never mind. I was, I'm glad I caught myself on that one. I'm gonna shut myself up there. All right, so, yeah, I'm, yeah, I was kind of upset that Barber didn't happen this year. I really like Barber. Last year, Barber was a great race, and Barber always hosts really good RTI races. So
yeah, I mean, anytime you can get a road course and have the entire road to Indy there, plus I'm pretty sure they had, it was either I know they had the Lamborghini, the Scuderia course, or Scuderia Squad or something like that, and then the MX-5s.
Yeah.
Yes. You get the MX-5s. I love the MX-5s. Battery tender global MX-5 Cup.
Yeah, and the Porsche Cup was there as well.
Yeah.
This year.
GT3. Yeah.
Yeah. Parker Thompson raced in it. Did pretty good in one of the races. He almost won it. His first one.
Like I said,
first almost wins it.
To kind of bring it back to the Pocono thing, Pocono could take a lesson from real quick, but and I mean, in Pocono's not defense, they have multiple different infield road course configurations that are fully contained within the infield. There's no reason you can't get and not 1 inch of that real estate was touched at all any weekend. You got there has to be a way you could even just get carts, go-karts. They had the quarter midgets out there, get a karting event and set up a makeshift at a far out section of the infield, because it is a massive infield, as you know. There's plenty of room that you can go out there and have some sort of a kart race or something out and make use of what you have.
Yeah, but I mean, look, bottom line is Pocono was built to be an IndyCar track, period.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was ever made for, and I get it. It was built for it when IndyCar was at its peak popularity and all that good stuff. And then they split, and now they're trying to gain it all.
Right.
But they were gaining. Every year was doubling. And, it's a big, the grandstand is almost a mile long, for crying out loud. So, there was a lot of people there. It's just, the rain was on the forecast for that day, and oh boy, was the forecast right.
Yeah.
And it was such, it was just such a perfect fitting to the end of Pocono, the end of the world-looking storm rolling in.
Yeah, that was pretty wicked.
Yeah, I was interviewing Graham Rahal at the time too, so it was weird.
Who was he blaming?
Speaking of Graham, congratulations to Graham and Courtney.
Yes, congratulations. Took them long enough.
I know the feeling. Go ahead, Miss. Do it. Might as well.
Nope.
Missy's pregnant. Yay, Missy's pregnant.
Frank, you're gonna get the beat down later. I'm gonna have to call 911, and about 5 minutes after this podcast is over, I will call 911, and that will allow Missy about 5 minutes to wail on you.
It really sucks on hot mic because I can't edit that out. And she's going to like really hurt me after we're done this. Missy, I'm sorry, but I'm happy. Sorry, I'm just happy. I'm very happy. So she brought it up, and I just kind of.
Okay, she didn't.
Someone.
You brought up the whole baby thing.
Bringing up Graham and Courtney's baby is not the same as bringing up your baby.
I know ours are more important. You're right, but still, I'm stupid. Okay, what else can we tell you? I'm an idiot. Okay, so she should have known better. She shouldn't have brought it up.
Cut that part out.
Wait a minute, I didn't start yet. Music didn't start. Missy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So talk. Go, Miss. Just spill the beans. You know it. It's long enough now to where
I didn't want to spill the beans because it's early still. But yes, I will confirm Frank's statement. Yes, baby Lynx will be arriving in January of 2021.
Boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
The race we will be at first, where you can pat me on the back, will be.
Or punch him in his face.
Anyway, I'm excited. I'm sorry. I got excited and then I say things. It's just what I do. And then I regret it later, and I say sorry a lot. But at least my apologies are sincere, and you can tell. Yeah.
Yes, I was trying not to announce it so soon. Yes.
You should have seen the look on your face, like everybody else did.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I went, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I should have said that. What do you think, Jared?
Yeah, I was trying to silence you. I should have just cut your mic.
I'm glad to know now that you have that ability.
I do. It's just a matter of clicking on this little mute pause button. Mute and unmute button right in my little audio mixer. Shuts both of you up.
Well, I'm glad you exercised it just then to save me. But it's cool, buddy. It's cool.
It's like when you see a train about to collide with like a person on a bicycle and you want to like jump in there and push them out of the way. But then you're like, that means I have to get hit by the train and I'm not taking that train.
So you're a coward, is what you're saying.
No, I like to live, therefore I am brave.
That scenario does not make you brave. No, but I get what you're saying, sort of. Anyway. Yeah, so I'm sweating over here. Yeah, what about... What's that? Floor, Caldron, leg, form, all female. Oh, okay, that's cool. So there's a all female ELMS team. Is it the same team from the 24? Is it the same group of gals? Because Catherine Legg's in there. But wasn't she in the last one? Yeah, Caddy L. Anyways. So yeah. I cannot wait for Texas, really. And Texas is fun, man, because it's half a super speedway and it's half a short oval and it's narrow. So there's really not two lines you can really take, you know? So when everybody's bunched up together, like that Graham Rahal win a few years ago, that was insane. He took a lot of chances. If you watch his onboard camera for like the last 8 laps, you're like, this guy is reckless. You know what I mean?
I
Like
agree. It was I was there for that race of the continuation, and that was quite the finish, especially when he starts pumping his fist out of the cockpit right before he crosses the start-finish line, and it slows him up just a little bit. His hinge is closing on him. That was one of the most. I mean, it was like about the closest finish in IndyCar history. It was nuts. It was.
This guy's going, yeah, as he almost loses.
Still won though.
Yeah, he did, and it wasn't. It was a pretty amazing, in-car camera type of thing. But that's what Texas will bring,
Yeah.
They use the Do they use the super speedway setup for Texas, right? Do they, or do they use road?
No, it's the super speedway trim.
Oh, yeah, okay. So we're gonna see the cars trimmed down, so a little less on them than usual with the aero screen. They're gonna look so top heavy. It's gonna be so weird looking.
The aero screen isn't that heavy. Altogether, it's only like 40 to 50 pounds, including the halo.
I'm just saying it's gonna look top heavy. I'm not saying it is top heavy.
Well, and there's who has idea what kind of impacts can have on the aerodynamics if it's going to generate that, because I can only imagine that's going to generate downforce itself, a fixed amount of downforce on everybody.
And it's going to throw off the balance of the car because it's not the center of gravity by no means.
It's closer to the center of gravity than the front and rear wings are. It's closer to the middle.
I would say the engine's the center of gravity on those cars. It's the heaviest part.
It's the aero screen, like, it's closer than the front wing.
Sure.
And it's about the same distance as a rear wing.
True again. Yep.
Yeah, like Greg here said, it is going to be really tough on the tires, and they've instituted a limit on the number of tires that they can use.
Really?
I can't remember the exact number.
Oh, I remember hearing about this. It was 8.
Yeah, it's actually more of a tire stint limit. So they're being asked to only do 35 laps per stint on the tires.
35 laps is a lot.
And that is why, and here's the reason why, because they will be using leftover tires from last year's race to use. So it's a new compound. It sounds like unused alternate tires from last year's race are going to be used, because with the pandemic, the Firestone factory hasn't really been working to generate. You're not going to generate race tires if there's no demand. Nobody can really be working, so they're left to what they got, and what they got are these old tires. So they're going to kind of basically say, well, we're going to use these old tires, but you're not going to want to go more than 30, 35 laps on them, because who knows what may happen. You may end up with a Ford Explorer. IndyCar could turn into a Ford Explorer.
Very true. Very true. IndyCar may turn up a Ford Explorer. Is that what you said?
Yep. Well, and then this article says, because I guess the author here spoke to a number of engineers, because the right-hand tires are going to be about the same as last year, give you the same performance, but the left side tires were built for the Indy 500 and will go away faster.
But not as fast as they would go away at Indy, because I'm sure Indy a lot more lateral G's on the left side.
Right. And so and it's a lot of unknowns, because they don't know what these left side tire compounds are going to do at Texas, plus the aero screen, which weighs like I said, about 60 pounds. So and that changes the center of gravity, like Frank said, and all these unknowns, they don't know. We just don't know what's going to happen. So that's why IndyCar is kind of issuing this advisory to the teams.
And but I'm looking forward to it. So we'll be with you, hot micing with you, I guess.
Yeah, if you guys want to come join me on the broadcast, we can do it from right here.
Be great.
Chatting, watching the race.
Yeah, it'd be great.
We're hanging out.
Just chilling. You know, I'll call my girlfriend Scarlett. Johannesburg. Oh, I missed it.
Hope she's got room for you.
Joke. Anyways.
Well, I mean, I'm all out of content here for the day. So unless you guys got anything, Missy, you can probably throw up final plugs and call it a night.
Yeah, Missy. So if they want to get a hold of us and wish us congrats on Twitter, which I highly, or Frank, you're an idiot. Either one, I'm sure I'll get both, no matter what. Go on Twitter and where can you find all that stuff, Miss?
That'd be www.theindysportscarpodcast.com.
Everything's right there, one click away. All of it. So, but Twitter's our most active site. So, Jared,
you can find me on Twitter here at JDePow. My website realopenwheel.com. Should also mention that all these episodes of our video podcast here since we started, all except the first because I wasn't smart enough to record it, will be uploaded to the Indy Sports Car Podcast YouTube page. So you can go back and rewatch on there. Otherwise, here on the app, you can go back if you're following me, which you should be. You can see all of our past episodes and my past hot mic. I'd like to do live PD because that is like the greatest show ever. And
what are you doing live PD? What is that?
You've never heard of the show Live PD? Wow. Have you ever heard of the show Cops?
Bad boys, what you gonna?
Imagine if Cops was live.
I've lived it, yeah.
So that's what the show is. Like they follow like 6 or 7 different police departments around the country and just show as close as they can to stuff happening live. You get to see awesome stuff.
Is Steven Seagal there?
No, sadly no. But it's just real. It's just real life cops.
Yeah, Steven Seagal.
The other night, I got to hear the 3 best words: taser, taser, taser.
That's what I'm saying. It hurts, but it stops. It stops you.
It stops most people, not everybody.
No, I'm joking. I've never been tased.
You're about to be.
I am. It's like, where'd you get that from? I didn't know you had that. She's like, you know this guitar you love so much? Right over the head. Spang.
Yep.
Anyways, so I don't care. I'm happy I did announce it because I'm very excited. So it's why we've been like hinting to things for like the last months that we don't know what we're doing. When people are asking what we've been doing, what we were going to be doing, you know what I mean? We kept saying, well, we really don't know this and that, So that's why. So now people know.
Yes, I'm glad that Missy's family and at least her family has found out, because I hate for them to find out through the podcast. That would be bad.
Well, none of them listen to it, so.
Yeah. Anyone, either of our family, even knowing that we do one or what it's about, or is IndyCar like NASCAR? If I have to be asked that again, I'm going to strangle someone. It's like, if IndyCar was like NASCAR, I would have said NASCAR, but no, like the Indy 500. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I always say, like, you've heard of the Indy 500, right? Oh, yeah. Well, imagine if those cars raced at tracks other than the Indy 500. That is what I do.
It's an insane concept, isn't it? They've been doing it for almost over 100 years now. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's great. We have hats and everything.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get some heavy duty stickers, and then you can just stick it right over Frank's mouth.
I would like to say good luck to SpaceX and Elon Musk, and hopefully we get Americans to the ISS from American soil again for the first time in a decade.
On board the Pecker rocket.
And whatever. Dragon 2, here we come. So good luck to them. Godspeed, SpaceX, because I forget the guys' names. And Godspeed to them. I hope everything goes well. Because it's a big deal, okay? It's a big deal. It really is. But everybody, so much been going on. People haven't been paying attention to it. So, but trust me, it's a big deal. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So, Missy, on Americans going to outer space from Florida. On that note.
And on that note, you know that I know that Jared. Yeah, everybody knows that Frank's a dead man. You know.
Yeah, R.I.P. Frank